I needed money. That's where it always starts, right? I was new in town, barely 21, living in a shared apartment with 3 other girls and barely surviving on ramen and stale coffee. So when I saw the ad on the bulletin board at the laundromat, it felt like a blessing. Live-in babysitter wanted, light housekeeping, good pay, room and board included. I called immediately. A woman answered. Her name was Mrs. Caro, voice warm, motherly, polite. She said she needed someone urgently. Her regular sitter had left without notice, and she didn't want to put her children through daycare. It's just 2 of them, she said. A girl and a boy. Very quiet, very well behaved. I told her I didn't have much experience, but she brushed it off. You sound perfect. Come tomorrow morning? The house was at the edge of town. I had to take a bus, then walk 20 minutes down a road that felt like it belonged in a different century. No sidewalks, just dirt and weeds and long wooden fences. The house itself was huge, old, Victorian maybe, peeling paint, porch swing hanging by one chain, windows too clean for a place that dusty. She opened the door before I knocked. You must be Anna, she said, smiling wide like she already knew me. Her hair was in a tight bun, her dress long and gray like something from a movie set in the 1800s. Come in, I'll show you everything. The tour was short. She moved quickly from room to room. This is your space, she said, pointing to a small bedroom on the 2nd floor. The children's rooms are off limits. They need their privacy. I nodded. The rules were simple. Keep the house tidy, be available at all times, no guests, no phone calls after 9. You'll meet them soon, she said. They're shy. The first 2 days were quiet, too quiet. I cleaned, I cooked, I waited, but I never saw the children. I heard footsteps upstairs, small and quick. I heard a ball bouncing once. But when I knocked on their doors to say dinner was ready, no one answered. Are they okay? I asked Mrs. Caro at breakfast. She smiled without looking up from her tea. They're just adjusting. Give them time. She always ate alone. I never saw her cook. Yet somehow, there was always food in the fridge. Cold roast chicken, boiled potatoes, soup in glass jars with no labels. By day 4, I was getting restless. I texted my roommate Emily. Haven't seen the kids yet, weird vibes. No reply. Later, I saw that the message hadn't gone through. No signal. I asked Mrs. Caro about the Wi-Fi. We don't have it, she said. Too many distractions for the little ones. That night, I heard crying. A child's voice, soft, muffled. I got up, tiptoed to the hallway. The house was still, but I could hear it. A girl's sobs, then a whisper. I don't want to do it anymore. My blood went cold. I knocked gently on the nearest door. Hello? Are you okay? Silence. Then the sound of something heavy sliding across the floor. The next morning, I asked again. I heard someone crying last night. Her eyes darkened. You must be dreaming. This house is old. It makes noises. She handed me a basket of laundry and told me to wash it by hand. The machine's broken, she said. I later found it working just fine. I started noticing other things. Locks on the outside of doors. A strange odor coming from the basement, like iron and mildew. A journal tucked behind the bookshelf in my room. It wasn't mine. Inside were notes. 3 knocks, as no. Don't trust her tea. The boy is real. The girl is not. I froze. My hands trembled as I flipped through the pages. Each entry was messier than the last. Dates stopped after a while. The last thing written was, if you're reading this, get out. I tried to leave that afternoon. I packed a bag, walked down the long road. But when I got to the main street, there was nothing, just fields. No sign of the bus stop, no signal on my phone, no cars passing, like the world outside had vanished. When I turned back, the house looked closer, like it had followed me, like it was waiting. I stood on the porch for a long time, watching the doorknob like it might twist on its own. The air felt heavier now, thicker. When I finally stepped back inside, the house was too quiet. No footsteps, no ticking clock, no hum from the old refrigerator. I called out, "Mrs. Caro?" No answer. Just the creak of the floorboards under my feet. Something was wrong. It wasn't just the house. It was me. I felt like I was being watched, not by her, but by something else. I went to my room and locked the door, even though the lock had never worked properly. I opened the journal again and reread every page, every note. 3 knocks. No. What did that mean? I hadn't heard any knocks, or maybe I had, and just didn't realize. Don't trust her tea. That part I believe now. I hadn't felt right since I started drinking it. My head ached constantly. I was always tired, like I was living half asleep. That night, I poured the tea into the sink. It was thick, not like any tea I'd ever seen. It clung to the porcelain like syrup. I didn't sleep. I sat in the corner of my room with the lights on and a broomstick across the door handle. At some point, I must have drifted off because I woke to a soft tapping. 1, 2, 3. Then silence. My heart slammed in my chest. I whispered, "Who's there?" No reply. I didn't open the door. I waited until morning. The next day, I searched the house when she wasn't around. I opened every drawer, every closet, every cabinet. In the attic, I found something that stopped my breath. Dozens of photographs, Polaroids, all of girls, different girls, some smiling, some crying, some asleep. One of them was holding the same journal I'd found. Another looked just like me, but younger. In the corner of each photo was a date. None were recent. The most recent one was 3 years ago. I took the photos and hid them under my mattress. Then I went to the basement. I hadn't dared before, but now I had to know. The door was always locked, but that day it creaked open. The stairs were narrow and steep. No light switch. I used the flashlight on my phone, praying the battery would last. The smell hit me immediately. Mold, rust, something worse. I covered my mouth and kept going. The basement was unfinished. Dirt floor. Stone walls. In the far corner was a wooden chair with restraints, leather straps, dried stains on the floor beneath it. I turned and nearly screamed. A mannequin stood behind me, dressed in a child's nightgown, hair matted with dust. Not a mannequin. A girl. Real. Dead. I stumbled back, tripping over a pile of books, pages scattered, all of them handwritten, all of them diaries, names, stories, desperation. They were all girls who had worked here, lived here, disappeared here. I ran upstairs, but the door slammed shut in front of me, locked. I pounded on it, screamed, cried. Nothing, no one, just the house breathing. Hours passed, maybe more. When the door finally opened, she was there, calm, smiling. "You went where you shouldn't have," she said softly. "You were doing so well." I asked her what this place was, who those girls were, what she had done to them. She only shook her head. "You'll understand soon. It's always hard at first." Then she gave me tea. I didn't drink it. She watched. "You'll need your strength," she said. "They're ready to meet you now." She led me to a new door I hadn't seen before, just past the dining room. It had a heavy lock and strange markings etched into the frame. She pulled a key from around her neck and opened it. "After you," she said. Inside was a room lined with mirrors, dozens of them, floor to ceiling. The reflections didn't match. In some, I was alone. In others, there were children behind me, staring, expressionless, not moving. I turned around. The room was empty. I turned back. In the mirror, they were closer, closer, closer. I screamed. She shut the door, locked it, left me there. I don't know how long I was in that room. Time didn't move. The children never blinked. I stopped looking in the mirrors. I stayed in the corner whispering to myself, "This isn't real. This isn't real." But it was. Eventually the door opened. A girl stepped in, younger than me, maybe 16. She didn't speak. She handed me a paper. On it was a message written in the same handwriting as the journal. "You're not crazy. This is real. I escaped once. I can help." She motioned for me to follow. I didn't ask questions. I followed. We snuck through a hallway I had never seen before, hidden behind the pantry. It led to a cellar door that opened into the woods. She ran. I ran. Branches whipped at my face, mud sucked at my shoes, but I didn't stop. We ran until the house was gone behind us, swallowed by the trees. When we finally stopped, she turned to me. "She only keeps the ones who drink the tea. You didn't, right?" I shook my head. She smiled. "Good, then you're still you." We made it to a highway, a gas station. I called the police, called Emily, called anyone who would listen. They went to the house, but it was gone. Nothing there, just an empty lot. They said we were imagining things, hallucinating, trauma response. But we know. We remember. We lived it. We weren't the first. We probably won't be the last. The police didn't believe us, but that wasn't new. People like me, girls who disappear into houses like that, don't get believed. They looked at my scraped arms, the mud on my jeans, the panic in my eyes, and still asked if I had taken something. Drugs, maybe. Stress, trauma, exhaustion. I stopped trying to explain. So did the other girl. Her name was Lily. She didn't remember her last name. Said it had been too long. Said names fade when you're trapped. The hospital ran tests. Blood, urine, cognitive evaluation. Nothing showed up. They discharged us the next day. Emily came to get me. She held me like I was made of glass. "You're safe now," she whispered. But I wasn't. Not really. I still saw their faces in every reflection. Still heard the 3 knocks at night. Still felt the weight of that house pressing on my chest. Lily had nowhere to go. I let her stay with us. She didn't talk much. Just stared at corners like something might crawl out of them. She slept during the day and stayed up at night. She drew things, rooms, hallways, symbols. I recognized some from the journal. "They're maps," she said once, "from inside, in case it comes back." I didn't ask what she meant. I didn't want to know. Weeks passed, then a month. I tried to go back to normal, picked up part-time work at a cafe, smiled at customers, pretended I hadn't seen what I saw, but it always came back. In dreams, in mirrors, in silence. One night I found Lily gone, just a note on the table. "It's not over. I have to stop her." She didn't say where she went. She didn't come back. I tried to move on. I really did. Therapy helped, a little. Emily was a rock, but something inside me had shifted. I wasn't just scared. I was angry. I couldn't stop thinking about the other girls, the ones in the photographs, in the basement, in the journals, the ones who didn't make it. I owed them more than silence. So I started writing, everything, every detail. I published it online under a pseudonym. At first, I thought no one would believe me, but the emails came fast, too fast. This happened to my sister. There was a house like that near my town. I escaped too. We need to talk. Story after story, different names, different states, but the same house, the same woman, the same lies. It wasn't just her. It was something older, something that moved, that wore faces like clothes, that fed off fear. That used kindness as bait. I gathered everything. Testimonies, maps, journal scans, audio recordings. I built a site, a database, a warning. I called it the missing mirror. People started sending tips, photos, coordinates. I worked day and night, obsessed. Emily begged me to stop. "You're spiraling," she said. "You're not sleeping." But I couldn't stop. Not until I found it again. Then one morning, I did. A tip came in. Rural Ohio. A house. just like the one I described. Same layout. Same porch. Same swing. A new name on the mailbox. Mrs. Gray. I booked a bus the same day. When I got there, the house looked different in daylight. Smaller, older, but it was her. I felt it. I stood across the street and watched. A girl opened the door. 15, maybe 16. Pale, thin. She waved at someone behind her. The door closed. My chest tightened. I couldn't walk away. I called the police, reported it anonymously, described what I saw, said I feared for a child's safety. They said they'd look into it. I waited. They never came. So I knocked. She opened the door herself. Different face, but same eyes, same smile, same voice. "Can I help you?" I said I was from a cleaning service, that we were hired for a one-time job. She hesitated, then let me in. It was all there. The mirrors, the tea, the locked doors. I planted a hidden camera, took photos, slipped a note to the girl when the woman wasn't looking. It said, "You're not alone. Get out when you can. There's help." I left, reported everything to the site, shared the footage. It spread like fire. People called it an urban legend, a viral hoax. But survivors knew better. They saw the truth. We all did. Now I live differently, carefully. I never drink tea from strangers. I never trust smiles that come too easily, and I always check the mirrors, just in case. Some nights, I dream I'm back there. The door closes behind me, the children stare, and she whispers, "Welcome home." But then, I wake up. In my room, safe, breathing, alive. I wasn't hired to babysit. I was bait, but I got out. And now I'm the warning. If you see a house that feels too quiet, a woman too kind, tea that smells too sweet, run. Because sometimes there are no children in the house, only the ones who never made it out.